How is it going, everyone? The PlayStation Store is running its holiday sale Wave 2, and while the PlayStation Store is an atrocity as far as its layout is concerned, I have dug up some historic low prices. Now, it wasn't really me digging up these deals. PSPrices.com is a great platform to go on, great website to go on whenever they're running a PlayStation Store sale, but doubly so when there is this navigation issue on the PlayStation Store itself. PSPrices.com does make it a little bit easier on me to navigate the platform and figure out what deals are new, the historic lows, etc., etc. With that being said, got about 17 deals to go over, man. A lot of games. We'll try to go through this fairly quickly, but let's get right into it. And let's start things off with a game that really showcases the digital tax. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, 40% off for $42. Kind of funny that Metal Gear Solid the Master Collection back in 2023 was a game that really showed the digital tax, and now back to square one with Delta Snake Eater. $42 on this. Look, outside of that obvious digital tax, the game itself is great. I loved Delta Snake Eater, and I totally get why people had their issues with the game being a $70 title, a remake of a PS2 game, and being a 15 to 17 hour long game. You could probably finish it even quicker than that if you really beeline the game and you know what you're doing. But man, Metal Gear Solid 3 is still one of the greatest video games of all time in my opinion, and it's one of those games that, yes, it is a little bit on the shorter side, but it's a game much like, you know, Resident Evil 4 that I'll go back and play through over and over again, and I'll get my mileage out of the game. I think it's great, and yeah, $42 still might be a little bit pricey for some people. I would actually think that this game at some point is going to get added to PS Plus Extra. I mean, they added Silent Hill 2 Remake to PS Plus Extra, so I think a year from now, year and a half, I could totally see this on Plus Extra, but that's a long ways away. $42 on that. Fallout 4, the base game, is 75% off for $4.99. Now, it is the base game, so no DLC here, but $4.99 for the base game of Fallout 4 would put it at a historic low price point. Fallout 4 is a pretty solid game. You know, the anticipation and the hype surrounding this game was astronomically high, and I think that ultimately led to people being disappointed. Not necessarily that the game was bad. It had its typical Bethesda games issues, but it was pretty good. There is an anniversary edition now, which, let's be honest, kind of a scam there for the anniversary edition with how expensive it is. But, yeah, Fallout 4 for $4.99, pretty good deal there. And then we gotta give my girl Lara Croft some mentions with Tomb Raider. Rise of the Tomb Raider at a historic low, 85% off for $4.99. I mean, I've talked about this game ad nauseum. $4.49, I should say. The game is at a historic low at $4.49, and yeah, it's a fantastic game. In my opinion, the best game in the Tomb Raider trilogy. Definitely would recommend that. And then you do have the classic Tomb Raider games, which I know a lot of people are a fan of. Tomb Raider 1 through 6 Remastered, that is 60% off for $22, and then Tomb Raider 4 through 6 Remastered, if you just want those three titles, is $14.99 if you already have 1 through 3. Good deals on those. Again, not my Tomb Raider of choice, but a lot of people love them, so hey, more power to you. One Piece Odyssey, 63% off for $14.79. I've talked pretty highly about this game as somebody that doesn't give a crap about One Piece. I ain't sitting and watching 1,100 episodes or however many episodes it's at this point. I thought this was a pretty darn good turn-based JRPG. I really don't know why I decided to play this, but my time with it was pretty darn good, and if you're a One Piece fan, you'll probably enjoy it even more than me, given that a big aspect of this game is going back into iconic moments of the anime and sections out of the anime, and then, you know, things are a little bit different. Not a totally out there narrative for a anime title like you saw that in Xenoverse as well, where you take the historic elements of the anime and then things go awry, etc., etc. But mechanically, I thought this was a pretty solid turn-based JRPG. I thought some of the platforming was well done, and yeah, $14.79 I think is a pretty darn good deal for that, and doubly so again if you're a One Piece fan. Next up, we have Animal Well, 30% off for $17.49. This game was received incredibly well, and it was available on PlayStation Plus Extra for a while. Unfortunately, no longer available on Plus Extra, but yeah, the game had a really, really stellar reception, which has also led to the game holding up in price for quite a while. Like, it came out, I want to say, back in May of 2024, almost 2 years later, and it's still at $17 and change, but you'll explore a dense, interconnected labyrinth and unravel its many secrets, collect items to manipulate your environment in surprising and meaningful ways, encounter beautiful and unsettling creatures as you attempt to survive what lurks in the dark. There is more than what you see. Typically $25, but at a historic low of $17.49. Next up, we have Pacific Drive, 60% off for $11.99. Man, I liked a lot of aspects about Pacific Drive. At the end of the day, it being a crafting survival title isn't my cup of tea, but I still think from an atmosphere standpoint, this game is awesome. I thought the narrative was pretty compelling, and if you're into this style of game, you know, crafting, doing runs, and so on and so forth, I think you'll have a pretty good time with it. They ended up dropping an expansion as well, the Whispers in the Woods, and you can get the bundle for $23.84. That's 47% off, but $11.99 on that, pretty good deal there. Then we have Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, 65% off for $21. Good to see this get cheaper and cheaper. So really well done turn-based JRPG. I wasn't crazy about SMT5 as much as a lot of other people, but maybe it was just timing of when I played the game, because in all facets, the game is pretty well done. You've got 2 playable story routes as well, that if you played the original game on Nintendo Switch, it gives you reason to play it again in this Vengeance form. Very, very dark aesthetic and a darker tone to it as well, but if you're into turn-based RPGs with some depth to it, you'll definitely enjoy SMT5. Next up, we have Absolum, which is 20% off for $19.99. I mentioned this a few days ago as it's going on sale, but while I haven't played it yet, I was surprised to see how many people had this game really high up in their favorite games of the year listings, and it definitely makes me want to check this out at some point. You know, there's always a lot of games to play, so it's tough to get to everything, but Absolum is one that has shot up in my to-play list, given the reception that people have had towards the game. It's an epic adventure in an original fantasy world. It's a beat 'em up and a lot of action-oriented gameplay. I love the art style of the game as well. It combines Emu and Guard Crush's mastery and beat 'em up gameplay with Super Monk's best-in-class art and animation. With its fast-paced action and endless replayability, Absolum will challenge you with multiple paths to explore and unpredictable encounters for a new experience each time you play. That is 20% off for $19.99. Then we do have Front Mission First Remake, 75% off for $8.74. An immersive tactical turn-based RPG placing you in command of the awe-inspiring Wanzers. Powerful military machines assume the role of valiant pilots, navigating the treacherous battlefields where the true realities of war come alive with every strategic maneuver. A meticulously crafted narrative that surprises at every turn, and the game showcases an extensive combat and battle system as well. Front Mission First Remake is available for $8.74. Then we do have Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader, 60% off for $19.99. This is an incredibly ambitious RPG with a ton of depth to it, a lot of different routes and dialogue choices that really do expand the world and the universe. I always appreciate how much depth Warhammer 40k has in its universe, but man, I feel like at some point it is way too overwhelming as well for the average person to get into. Like, there's just so much going on, but if you want a quality classic RPG, I thought Owlcat Games did a really good job with Rogue Trader, but again, a little bit of an undertaking to say the least. Like, this game's got an absurd amount of hours of gameplay, and you've got a ton of DLC as well, and the Deluxe Edition and the Voidfarer editions are on sale as well, so you'll get some of the DLC with those editions as well, but a good discount on that if you're looking for a classic RPG. Next up, you have the Outer Worlds 2 Premium Edition. It's 30% off for $70. It does include a DLC pass for 2 future expansions as well, but $70 is a hefty price. The base game is still on sale until the end of today for $49, so you can check that out. I beat Outer Worlds 2. I was not blown away by it as much as a lot of other people, but hey, you know, a lot of people really enjoyed this game. I just did not like it to that extent. I wasn't crazy about the story. I didn't find the characters to be all that likable, and you know, just not really my cup of tea, but you know, it is what it is. I'm very much in the minority on that. A lot of people really enjoyed this game, so I guess it is what it is, but $70 on that, that's definitely an expensive price, so take it for what you will. Going Under is 85% off for $2.99, a satirical dungeon crawler about exploring the cursed ruins of a failed tech startup. As an unpaid intern in the dystopian city of Neo Cascadia, you'll wield office junk as weaponry as you make your way through the offbeat procedural dungeons beneath your company campus. That is on sale for $2.99. Then we do have Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, the Hinokami Chronicles 2, 35% off for $39. Look, if you're into arena fighters and you're a fan of Demon Slayer, you'll have fun with these games, just like pretty much every anime game outside of Jujutsu Kaisen Curse Clash that has come out in this style. Jujutsu Kaisen Curse Clash was a special tier of garbage, but nonetheless, Demon Slayer, the Hinokami Chronicles, you can have some fun with if you're a Demon Slayer fan. Like, I've watched Demon Slayer. Do I love it? No, I think it's totally serviceable. I think it's totally fine. I think the animation is outstanding and really one of the major reasons people really do like it. But nonetheless, it's fine for what it is. $39 on that. Then we do have the Onimusha 1 and 2 bundle, 40% off for $23.39. Remember that the Onimusha 2 remaster came out somewhat recently, so it's a pretty good price for both of those titles as far as that's concerned, if you do want to check those out ahead of Onimusha Way of the Sword. $23.39 on that. And then lastly, we do have Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 4, which is 50% off for $19.99. This low-key just randomly is at a bigger discount than it typically goes for. Like, generally speaking, these games do hold up in price, which, you know, it is what it is. Legend of Heroes games, you'd be hard-pressed to find them heavily discounted. Cold Steel 4 is the culmination of the Cold Steel arc, so certainly do play Cold Steel 1, 2, 3 before you play Cold Steel 4, as it very much is consequential for your experience. But yeah, it was great, but again, you already know the deal. If you're caught up with it, Cold Steel 4 is definitely worthwhile to play, but yeah, a lot of you are just not caught up to the point of getting into Cold Steel 4. But that'll do it for me. Again, a lot of great deals available right now. You know, some of the stuff like Delta Snake Eater, while I love that game, man, seeing that price point with the digital tax doesn't really inspire me to say, oh my god, you gotta go buy that right now. And $42 is still quite pricey, but that'll do it for me. Your thoughts down below. As always, sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.